I've seen that people are getting married, but they're not legally getting married.
People will get caught up into this trying to fulfill what we call the word and what we call the customary expectation. But some would say after Lobola, if you meet maybe the minimum requirements from your in-laws, they would ask if you are taking your wife then. So the person is, or the moment they accept, and we've got a biblical precedence out of it also. You can go back to how Abraham married, you know, how how Eliezer went on and get Rebecca, you know, for Isaac. In the minds of an individual, it could be that you think I don't know, this is why I say, I don't know how the justice of peace would do it in America, right? But I can tell you my experience of standing before a magistrate.
Justice of peace.
The justice of peace.
Yeah.
She mentioned the name of Jesus before God. Do you solemnly swear today before God and before the company of these people? So God is invoked.
Mordecai.
Hello and welcome to the podcast Let's Talk with myself, Mordecai Kamanga, and the co-host, Tapiwa Amakosa. So introduce yourself again. But now, you remember that time you introduced yourself as the guest, but this time you're not the guest. So I think, man, if there's anything that you need to introduce yourself about, maybe something new or whatever, you can go ahead.
Something new. Hello, everyone. It's Tapiwa Amakosa. Tapmark. Call me Tapiwa Amakosa. Tapmark. Brother or anything.
That is that all.
Tapmark is trademark. That one can never go away. But I'm happy to be here. And well, what am I? I'm just a guy who likes to talk, and I'm happy to be part of this. Yeah, I talk to a microphone. When people are there, I'm quiet. But hopefully we'll be discussing things that are helpful, and we'll enjoy together. Yeah. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So last time we wanted to host this show, but because of technical issues, I don't know what happened that day, because we tried for almost 45 to 1 hour trying to sort out the sound. You all know Kuti sound from I'm here in South Africa and he's in the UK. I don't know what happened, if it was network, if it was anything. So we ended up saying we are not going to do it. Let's just stop. Maybe as Shanda got sending us. But we gave up.
It just wasn't probably the right time to bring out what we are going to bring out today. And so it was for a reason that we might not know, but at least finally we are here, and hopefully we'll be engaging and conversing with you guys for the coming few weeks.
That's what is important. Yes, every Monday it's 7. So, and also another issue or another thing is that we are not going to be posting this now on Facebook, because Facebook has a thing that I've seen. They've been sending me emails and messages about if you do a live, if you post a live video, they will delete it after 30 days.
Oh yes, yes. I've noticed that with my own streams. They say save it as a reel, because everything else is now going to be as a reel.
So I think Facebook will just be putting maybe clips, or we'll find a way to just upload the whole video. But mostly
you can upload the whole video, but not as a live.
Okay. If you put it live, then they will delete it after 30 days.
Yes.
But as a reel.
Yes, if you premiere it as a live, they'll consider it live, so they will delete it. But if you post it just as a video you are posting, I think it's automatically saved as a reel, and then it stays there for a while.
Okay, which is fine. But also, you guys should subscribe to our YouTube channel now. We've got a YouTube channel where we'll be posting these videos, these long form videos. So you guys make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so that
that's true. And also to our personal YouTube channels.
Yes, of course. We have to link them. We will link them down on the comment section. but without wasting much of the time. So there's a lot of things. I've been thinking of a lot of things, but today I'm sure we are going to talk about all of those things. If not, we'll do a part 2 of this show. So one thing I want to talk about is the marriages. Man, I've seen that a lot of people are getting married. A
which
lot
is
of people
good.
are getting married, which is a good thing.
It's a sign of the time.
Is this exactly? And people are getting into courtship, they're getting married, and all those things. But one thing that stood out for me is I've seen that people are getting married, but they're not legally getting married. If that makes sense, it makes sense because I'm talking about if you get married, you need to be registered with the I'm sure it's the marriage law, something like that. I don't know what they call it, the experts. I don't know what they call it, but people are not getting married legally. What is the problem?
Well, yeah, if it is so happening, then
Yeah.
I'm not so sure in your experiences back in South Africa or is in Zim, but I know for a fact that back in Zim, most of the pastors they have been trained as official marriage
Officers, yeah.
as officers,
Marriage
and
officers.
I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
yes, so there've been a push that almost at every wedding there will be the actual signing of this marriage certificate. There will be a marriage officer because there was that push. But if there are people then who are not signing for that certificate, I think they are just not really properly informed on what is expected of them in unionizing. Kuti muchato wacho yes kuchatiramba mamwari zvakanaka, kuchatira wakacheswa nomufundisi zvakanaka,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
asi kunze uku munenge muchingogona kunge muchingotorwa kunge ichingori customary law, a wedding where they are recognizing the lobola if paid, because vamwe vachabhadhara roraka mazuva ano handiri kuziya.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which is another thing. So I think it's a matter of not being properly informed or not asking questions to the right people. But this is also where I said the other time the MCs also should play a role in reminding the people to say also makawana marriage officer here, and who will be making you sign your certificate and everything else.
Yeah.
So but it's nice that you started with marriage, because in I had a different I was thinking around that same area, marriage and everything. But I always had this question: how do we? I want to say, how do we marry? How do we align the two different cultures? The all right, fine, for the context, the church way of getting married and the customary way of getting married. I think from your background, you spoke of having a courtship and engagement, and then the white wedding. Which and where do you place Lobola? What is the significance of Lobola then, and what are the parallels? How do you go? What's your thoughts on that? I have mine, but I want to hear your thoughts on that.
You see, when we talk about that before we go to this part, in response to the law, I'm not sure. Like you're asking me about, you don't know how people do it in South Africa. My marriage is registered in South Africa, not in Zim. Though I'm a Zimbabwean, I didn't register my marriage in South Africa because my wife has a permanent residence in South Africa, so I could register that marriage in South Africa. They call it civil wedding. So that's where I'm registered at. So when it comes to, I'm not sure if you're asking about the process of getting married from start to finish, to say that now I'm a married man. That's
at what point? And maybe before you answer, I see you're still sharing, my guy.
No, we're fine.
We are fine. All right.
Yeah, we're fine.
If we are fine, that's okay. Because I was just looking this side because you are on my other side of the screen.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay, no, so don't mind that one. I don't even know how to remove it, but we're fine.
All right. If we are fine, that's okay.
So there's two marriages, right? For the people that go to church, there is one we do in church, which is a wedding. It's a white wedding. It's basically a white wedding where someone will come and wear a gown. It's a culture. From what I understand, is it's also a culture, someone's culture or some people's culture. And there is the Lobola the customary marriage. It's customary because it's um that's our custom as African people or as Zimbabwean people, which we will pay Lobola. Back then, they used to say that you have to bring a baza. Then we give you our girl. Say, okay, it's fine. This guy is worth to get our daughter. So, from my understanding, the white wedding came from Western culture, right? But now it's now in the process of African marriage, because now they say that you have to get into courtship. After courtship, you have to what do we do? Engagement. After engagement, you do Lobola. After Lobola, then you do a white wedding. So, which means we are doing like two weddings, bro. We are doing two customary weddings. I'm saying because in those like
Yeah.
I'm not sure in the US. I don't think they do like they don't have Lobola thing. I don't know.
Yeah. You see what you said is exactly where I've found it quite interesting, as into how do we wait. No, but I say, especially for me, where I had kind of like challenges is a person who pays Lobola, you know, and
Yeah.
the wedding is in 2 months, so they pay Lobola like today. They know the wedding date is in 2 months, in December or thereabouts, and
Yeah.
they wait all along until 2 weeks before the wedding. Then they say we are getting engaged, and in my
Oh,
mind,
yeah.
I don't know if you if you've noticed that.
Yeah.
This is why I asked to say, how do we parallel this? I've seen these experiences, or even of someone who is they have the wedding on a Saturday, then they have an engagement on the Friday night in church. Then tomorrow, from that church service, actually from the church service, we are going to the different places to prepare for the wedding that is tomorrow. I have seen
You,
such.
something is not making sense to me. Because you are saying that someone pays Lobola today,
Yes.
right? And whatever, let's say after 2 months or even tomorrow,
The wedding
someone
is on
comes
Saturday.
and come after Lobola, you engage.
Yes.
What is the meaning of engagement?
I don't know what's the meaning of engagement to you.
Yeah, because from my understanding, engagement is promising. You are promising the girl that I'm marrying you, right? So does it make sense that you are marrying someone? You are promising to marry someone that you have already
You are
married, because
customarily married to.
you are married to that person, because you could just, after paying Lobola, you could just go together and say we are going to stay together. It's
So
legal, and also you can even if it's church thing, you can even go to your pastor, say, pray for me, I don't want to do a church wedding and stuff, because in church we are just being prayed for, right? But the marriage itself has happened. The Lobola negotiations, and the people have agreed to say, okay, we are taking our daughter, we are giving away our daughter, go ahead. The marriages are happened already. So why would you now then promise when you have already married someone? It's like going to my wife and saying, I promise to marry you. No, that doesn't make sense. I feel like engagement should start first. Engagement, you promise the girl to say, I'm marrying you, I'm going to marry you on such a date, and then the date comes, you pay Lobola, you redeem your wife. That's redemption, right? That's what I think. That's what I believe. That's the correct way of doing it.
I am on the same boat with you there. I usually bring this up because I've had discussions with some friends, colleagues, ministers at one point, to say, because I think people we get caught up into this trying to fulfill what we call the word and what we call the customary expectation. But in our minds, we have not fully accepted that the procedure which we are describing of courtship, engagement, and a white wedding are cultural procedures
Yes.
in other countries
Yeah.
that we are actual, because now we have got a text, and I've always posited that because we have got a text that is coming from a Western background, from a cultural Western person, and then when they are describing the processes of getting married, it's unfortunate that at times it was totally substituted to mean and as if appear that the way that we did ours was not right
Yeah.
and was not okay. Of which, if you sit down for a minute, sorry to say sit down, if you take a moment, you realize that the way that we did it culturally is the same as what they would do,
Exactly.
but it has got different names. And I think I posited it at one point to say, tine kupfimbwa, kupfimbwa ndo courtship, right? Musikana apfimbwa. So abvuma maakutanga kufambidzana, so that's the courtship, muri kufambidzana. And then as you are courting, as you are mukudanana, when things get serious culturally, what was expected then is the girl introduces you to the tete, to tete, to say, what, tete, this is the guy that I'm fambidzanaring with. This is the guy I'm courting. So why was it done that way? It was done so that is to protect the girl child, and if there is a mishap, they know to which house to go to. You see, they would know to say, oh, if kana nhumbu yakabatwa pakatapa panonzi ndeani, vanozotiri kuenda kwana ningi, because so pavanoenda kunana tete kana zvakwidza zviri serious ndo pavaipanana nduma. That was a form of engagement.
Yes.
Popanana nduma, tete vakuziva kuti kana anzi ndoziva jasi ranhingi iri, ndoziva kuti tapiwa ndo hembe yatapiwa yako yakandisira pano, kana akaodza mwana wedu tinoziva kokuita sei, kokuenda. Now that's your engagement. The promise has been made. There is someone who is now witnessing. And then when it comes to Lobola is now after the process atofamba, vanhu vouya vobvisa pfuma yavakanga vakatarisirwa kuti vabvise. And I would say in different, I think different places do it differently. But some you would say after Lobola, if you meet maybe the minimum requirements from your in-laws, they would ask if you are taking your wife then. So the person is, or the moment they accept, and we've got a biblical precedence out of it also. You can go back to how Abraham married, how how Eliezer went on and get Rebecca, for Isaac. You see, after they've paid, they say when they were satisfied with what was paid, they asked the girl, so Tsano, Eliezer, are you taking the girl today? And then the girl was asked, do you want to go now? No.
So she didn't wait for anything. She didn't wait for
she has been redeemed.
So at the end of the day, okay, so which means redemption is what is important here, because you can promise, you can do all sorts of things like in the process, but at the end of the day, what is needed is for you to redeem the bride. And once you redeem the bride, you have now the right to say, I'm taking my bride, I'm going with her. Then let not the white wedding, as we call it today, the Western wedding, as I would put it, because it's a whole culture on its own. So let the people that are getting married, the husband and the wife, to decide to say, no, we are going to do it. Let it not be compulsory that you must do the white wedding, because without the white wedding, I can still go to court and say, I want to marry my wife. You register your marriage. I just want to sign papers. The court allows you. We go back to the Bible again, like what you're saying about Eliezer, Rebecca, and so forth. Rebecca went with Eliezer after the Lobola was paid. You see? So the white wedding and the cultural wedding that we do, the customary wedding that we do in Africa, it's two things that are the same with different terms and different culture, but it's one thing.
It's
Because
the
that's
same
how,
process.
yeah. Because that's
It's the
how
same
also it's Taura.
It's the same process, but you see now where the challenge is. We have labeled one kuti ndoshoko,
Oh yeah. But
and then iri harisi shoko
that's sure.
ndezvechivanhu.
Yeah.
Do you see where now the challenge is? So vanhu pavachanzwa, if people hear you say like what you just said moments ago, to say, oh, if I just want to, if they should decide, the pastors will be like, who doesn't want their kid to put on a thing? The pastors will say, are you saying you shouldn't eat cake? you know,
No, but
and
bro, Lobola zenyu zadzia, you can also buy a cake and bring a cake there. Handiti mazono kutori nemabridesmaids ere echivanhu chedu elobola. Unotoona ndoye vamwe vakazoita mai manja mukomana akatadza kukuya. But all that is happening, bro. Like there is my bridesmaid, 5 bridesmaids, but I'm sure I've seen also some you'd see murume, the guy would also have groomsmen. So
yes,
we can still do the same thing. We already have that, but now we just choose not to do it. To say that okay, mwana wedu anogona kuenda after lobola. We want white wedding to go by force, but it shouldn't be by force.
Exactly, because now the flip side is we now have got a part of society, because there is what we call the word, and then there is what we are calling chivanhu. We now have got a society who are saying atidi kuita zvechivanhu, saka kunyange neroora racho lobola chivanhu, we no longer want. You see, this is how you see kuti paunoona kuti culture sometimes takatadza kubata pfungwa inenge iripo panodzidziswa zvimwe zvinhu nemunhu anenge asina kukurira munyika menyu achibva kune imwe nzvimbo. Mutsananguriro waanoita zvimwe zvinhu takatadza kubata, takangotora wese seshoko raMwari, tichitadza kuziva kuti it's just his culture which he is explaining, because kuno ku-UK that's what they do.
Yeah.
You see, that's just what they do. They go out, they date, and then they engage. They get married.
Do they pay lobola like?
They don't pay I mean the whites, not necessarily church. I'm talking general.
I'm talking about the customary law of the UK. Do they pay lobola? Just take for free.
Most technically, it's not for free. It's the engagement ring costs a lot.
Yeah,
I think
course.
The engagement ring is the ring. More than even the wedding ring.
Band. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yes. You see, so but what do you see? My point is that you not consider to be sacred as to say ndoshoko. Kwavari ndozvingori natural. Saka vari kuita shoko here kana kuti vari kuita culture yavo.
And what's funny is that they know that here in Africa we pay lobola and all those things, but they have never changed their culture to say now we also want money. Bring us money. If you want our daughter, bring money, we charge you.
Of which isusu seku-Africa tisu titori nema-example akatoteera kubhaibheri kunyanya kudarika avo.
Correct. Because if you look at how we do it in Africa, it seems like the Bible was written for Africa, or what was written taking what was happening in Africa, especially in terms of marriage. Because if you look, like in the Western world, there is no lobola like what we're saying right now. But us, we have got their kind of wedding.
Yep. I don't know if it is a product of colonization or it's a product of something else. Yeah, I wouldn't know.
It's many things. Some of them we would want to talk about them because we know we have got people that are too sensitive also. But
but come on, you see why the reason why Ndinopa example is sorry ndakudzokera kuBible. paunoona Jesu paya achitaura kuna Mark 7, so ndichangopa seexample. Kuna Mark 7 achitaura kuti vaFarisi vanodzidzisa tsika sekunge ndo shoko rani raMwari. Teaching the traditions of men. So pane zvimwe zvinhu zvekuti itsika, not necessarily kuti tsika dzachona dzakaipa, asi kuti dzapiwa emphasis isiri iyo. Dzobva dzatorwa dzatsika dzimwe, dzobva dzaunzwa sekunge ndo dzakanakisa kudarika tsika dzimwe dzagara dzichita sei dziripo. Asi dzose itsika. Those are just customary. If you go to the Western world, the white wedding is the kind of expected kana uri munhu anoda kuchata. Do you get itsika? Ingori tsika ndo inongoitwa. So it's trying to balance on those things, and if it was properly explained in the minds of people to say, if you pay lobola, depending kuti warorera mhuri ipi, and I usually say ndisaka uchiti kana wakati uruda kutora mudzimai wako nemuchato unobhadhariswa. Why are you being made to pay for choosing to take your wife by a white wedding? Because irisk yawakuvapa mukadzi wako pakaitika chimwe chinhu usati wamutora iye ari mudzimai wako.
So what will happen?
Saka varikuedza kutaura kuti no, wakutiremedza basa, isu tandatogamuchira kuti tinotoda kuti se watora mukadzi watirorera mwana wedu.
Okay, so
you are adding responsibility to us, whereas you are supposed to have taken your wife because we are satisfied with you meeting what we have been expecting. So
in a normal setting, which means when you pay lobola, you have just to take your wife and go.
You tell them, yes, you have to take your wife and go, and then they ask you kuti whether tingachimirai asarira tete tinozouya kuzomupereka.
Nanzi pana umwe akazoti tiri kuzomupereka but haana kuzouya. Nanzi anatete akatozoti akaramba kuuya.
Pane zvinenge zvaitika, pane dhiri rinenge rarohwa ipapo.
Nyaya dzakatozoenda kukoti zvikanzi akoti kati okay, they have to pay back 3,000 USD, and now paying back now the court can say okay, every month pay. I mean, the person will say I will pay $20. So okay, what are the importance? What do you think are the importance of registering your marriage? Because of course because it's one important thing that I always tell people that are getting married: register your marriage. There's many benefits that come with it.
Yeah, so registering a marriage, it's beneficial because one, you are joined together in I think most of these our civil unions, they are in community of property. So if any mishap happens to either of you or to one of you, it ensures that your partner, whatever assets that you might have accrued together, apana family intervention akawanda anoitika, because on inheritance issues she's going to be protected or he's going to be protected. Surviving spouse is going to be some sort of protection depending with the type of marriages that you would have gotten onto. It's registered, it's known. And also I think if we say we are honoring God, we are also encouraged to honor the laws of the lands that we live in.
Fulfilling all righteousness, bro.
Fulfilling all righteousness. So it's not just about the one part, it's also on the other part. To say, let it be known, Caesar must know, and in certain countries, like I think in the UK, if you are married, there are certain benefits to it, be it to taxi on some issues or be it to some certain benefits. If you are married, even insurances. If they say, oh, you are married, they say, oh, maybe you've got, it shows you some sort of responsibility. And even access to credit because you are married. So I think there is that issue of protection. Kunobatsira panyaya dzeuzoti naka kana kuti vana vanozosara vachizonzi takumirira kuti mhuri dzichange dzauya. No, at least the partner, the surviving spouse, is protected. I think those are the first two that come to my mind.
Yes.
The other one is Lobola visa.
Yeah, it's one thing I wanted to talk about, that the issue of visas. It's very important. That paper is got power and authority with it that come with it. That marriage certificate. I've seen a lot of brothers or guys that are going to Ukraine, they're going to Belgium, they're going to all these countries, and they have kids with their wives. Maybe they got married in church, and then they just did a church wedding,
The
church
white
white
wedding.
wedding and stuff. But maybe the pastor was not a marriage officer, right? Now, when they, let's say they get a job in Poland, most of these guys are going to Poland. They get a job there, they go. But now, for them to bring their wives, you need to be legally married. So that's when you see now the person goes and stays 1, 2, 3 years there. The wife can't come, can't get a visa because you guys are not married. In front of
Not
the law, in
married.
the eyes of the law, you guys are not married. So I've seen a lot of guys now coming back and start doing the process of getting married legally, and all those. It takes a lot of time. So it's easier just to, when you think of getting married, go and register your marriage. Like here in South Africa, if you the marriages are automatically in community of property.
Uh-huh.
Unless you don't want that, you involve now lawyers and all those things. But it's yeah, I think it's much easier to do it before you want to get a visa to go to Poland. It's easier. You can
So
quickly go with your wife, with your children.
on the issue of visas, like you said, I think all I can say is in Zimbabwe, it's actually easier to get married. You can go and register. I think if you go to the Rotten Row courts, you can register today and get married tomorrow. You just need you and your partner and 2 witnesses. As
Yeah.
long as you are above 18, that's
Yeah.
all they need. You know, in some places it takes a week. For us, it took a week because we were here and then we had to travel back here.
Okay.
We managed to register, and the following about 3 days we managed to have
So are
a
you,
court
are you
wedding.
saying that you went there without getting married?
No, I went here. I came here alone, and then came back to Zim and got
No, I
married
mean,
and wedded.
okay. And where did you were saying
And then
that
come back.
you went to UK and then you come back here to get married again? What happened?
It's right.
That was
Yes,
difficult.
because it's easier. It's easier to get married in Zim than in the UK if you are not a citizen of the UK.
Okay.
Well,
So that's what I'm asking. What happened, you guys?
all right. So the
What was
process
the
for us
process?
was
Yeah.
the process for us was this. So in the UK, where what they have papers that they would have wanted. So now this is the tricky thing. If you are living in countries like this, they are not being guided by moral principles. You know,
Yeah.
so they can ask to say, oh, if you want to get married, or you say you are not British, you know, you want to get married, have you been living together already?
Okay.
You see, this type of things they're trying to say, okay, fine, is because they're trying to guard against marriages of convenience.
Yeah.
So they
For
ask
someone
questions like, oh, if
responsible.
with your partner, so have you been living with your partner? Do you have a joint bank account?
Yeah.
Have you taken credit together in the same name, or do you rent the same apartment? So they kind of like in their world, people kuchaya mapoto has been legitimized, so to say.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is why you hear most of the time they talk much more of partners
Yeah, it's
than
just than being married.
you see,
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
married. Because so for them, you can be a partner with kids until you get married later.
They call it a life partner.
Yeah, apart from just saying life partner, partner to be your partner means you are not married. If someone refuses to say this is my partner, they are likely not married. They might be
That's boyfriend.
vakura vatochembedzana vana vazukuru, but if they say this is my partner, they are not married.
And then there's those that say that we are married but they are partners.
Yeah. on certain aspects.
Yeah,
So
here in South Africa, there is a visa that is even called a life partner visa, because you are not married, you're just staying together.
we are not married, but we stay together.
But we can still legalize your chima pot. You see,
Yes.
but the process here now in South Africa, it's quite easy and straightforward. If you want to get married here, I'm not sure if you are both foreigners. But myself, I was a foreigner here in South Africa, and my wife had a permanent residence, so it was easy. She's considered as a citizen already, though she's not yet a citizen, but she's also considered as a citizen of the country. So I had to bring a lot of documentation from Zim to say there was a letter that I had to take from Zim, a letter of no impediment. That letter will state that I've never been married in Zim. So I actually had to send my ID to Zim. Then they will check in the database to check if I was married there. So if I was married, I was not going to be allowed to marry here in South Africa. The South African government would not allow me to get married here. So
Yes.
the document came back from Zim, and then I had to go to the embassy again for the embassy now to certify to say that yes, this document is legit. So, and I had to attach it again, and all other documents that I had to go with it to the South African Home Affairs, and then would get married. It's very straightforward because I couldn't go to Zim to do it in Zim because the Zim system was a bit tough for me because now my wife would be considered as a foreigner in Zim. So in that case, now in Zim, it's a bit complicated. So I had to do it here.
You say it was straightforward, but what you described is not straightforward.
No. I think it's straightforward.
Listen,
Or maybe it's not.
straightforward in the
It's not.
sense.
Okay. It's not.
It's straightforward in one sense, like you managed to do it. But what I can tell, because this is why we then chose to travel back to Zim for us to get married. Because here,
are
the
both
process
foreigners, right?
is off head because we are both foreigners. So what we needed to do is I have to register with my council where I stayed. She has to. So both of us, we stayed in different places, different towns. So we had to choose one council to go and register to because you get married at the town council.
Okay.
Town hall. So we had to choose the council. Either we go to her local council or to my local council together. Because we are foreigners, we had to go together. And then we present our papers. You apply online.
Okay.
And then they've got to send your information to the home office. And then they have to liaise and correspond with the Zimbabwean embassy and other things that we don't know. So when I looked at the whole process, it would take at least 3 months.
Yo, that's a long time, bro.
Before being approved to get married.
So this is just
UK.
to get a marriage license.
This is just to clear your names. This is just to make sure you guys are okay. It could take up to 3 months. And then having to book a wedding date for them to send an official to come and marry you.
Yeah.
It's another booking process. All in all, I think the advice would be if you want to get married, you have to book it a year earlier at least. So if you want to get married next year, you book, say you want to get married next year at a certain date, and then you take this whole time of preparation and everything.
Yeah, bro, it's a long process. But when
it's a long process.
The Zim one, how long did it take?
Less than a week.
Less than a week.
Like I said, Zim one we landed, managed to go to concession, put on our notices, what do you call marriage licenses, and I think that was on a Wednesday, or I'm not so sure which date now. Friday we were back getting married in court.
Okay, that was very simple.
Zim is simple and it's $25. So this is why I say it's simple. if for me this is now straightforward. For Zim it was straightforward. Get your marriage license. The wedding date you are given, go and appear before the magistrate and get to sign.
So all you had to pay was $25.
$25.
Yeah, that's fair.
$25. It was just $25.
So there is a benefit, which means why are people not getting married legally when they are both Zimbabweans and they don't have $25?
Maybe, but I just think they are not just properly advised.
Yeah, I think.
They're not just properly advised. I'm talking that it's the most you are expected to be there is just 4 people. You, your partner, and her witness, and your witness.
Oh, okay.
As long as you are above 18.
Mm.
You see, and it's a process that takes less than 15 minutes.
Hey, yeah.
And you are married. Off you go. and
Well-
and you see, and sorry, I want to track back because you spoke something about visas, and
Yeah.
I want to hear your take on this.
Yeah.
Now, because something we wanted to plug with Message Connect, but because it's not there, we see now when we bring 2 people from different continents together.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile like a person? Let's say I've got somebody back home that I want to get married to, and they go do the Lobola, right? After doing the Lobola, then they go to the courts and get the marriage certificate to apply for visas. But the white wedding is maybe some time in the future. Are these people married or not married?
In whose eyes?
Well, church eyes. I'm going to say church eyes. God's eyes, I'm not so sure in church eyes. But how do you look at it? Are these people married? And before you answer, I want you to think in terms of, can they consummate the marriage or can they not?
There is marriage. The marriage is already there because once, like, we go back again to what we've said. If someone has paid Lobola, right? You are somewhere in the overseas, out of Africa, somewhere there. You come back and you pay Lobola, wherever. Maybe you send someone to pay Lobola for you. The marriage has been established already, right? And then that's why we also now go and say legally married. You can be married, but not legally. If you go to the court now, you are legally married because now, in the eyes of the law, you have been married in the eyes of the law, and the law recognizes the marriage and say, okay, these guys are married. The marriage is there.
So when is your wedding anniversary? The day you
The-
married
the
in court,
wedding-
or the one where you say your vows in front of the pastor?
Yeah, but
10 weeks later.
even in court, you do also the vows.
You see, I bring this up because it's things that I've experienced and I've spoken with some, and you are trying to kind of bring an understanding. And it's unfortunate that sometimes when people hear, they hear from like, are you trying to impose something that is not right, or that is not the word, or that is not how we do things? And what you are trying to say is, no, what you are doing is you are being hypocrites. You're being hypocritical because you are enjoying some benefits of marriage because you've provided a marriage certificate for visa application, but yet you are denying yourself that you are married. Did you get that? Because you haven't done it in church.
Let's take it this way. The reason why the pastors are becoming marriage officers these days, I think you go and do lessons with the government. I don't know how you do it. And the government will give you a license to get to marry people, right? You even have a book, that book where there's marriage certificate, you fill in the information and then you present it to the couple. The reason the pastors are doing that, it's because of the law. Because they want, when they marry their people in church, they now can provide and give them the proper documentation for that, to say these people are now legally married. It's happening in church. What we get in any pastor, a pastor can even come to your house and marry you in your house. The law says that you must get married in a place where there's open doors.
Yes, public place.
Public place, not somewhere in the corner of the bedroom, but in a public place. That's what is important. And what is let's say the pastor is coming to marry you in the house. What is the pastor bringing? Is bringing the blessing to say this is the blessing of God, to say, okay, I am the pastor, anointed and ordained minister of the gospel. We say we are praying for you. The pastor is bringing the prayer and the blessing. So you can also be, a person can also be married. Should we say that those that are married in court without the pastor are not married? Should we say that? No.
For a period of time, people considered those as not married.
Yeah, which was wrong, I think.
Because there was a paragraph that describes something along those lines.
What was the paragraph saying?
I don't want to misquote words and I don't want to misrepresent, but something around, because I don't know what then that term means, marriage of justice of peace. I'm not so sure what that means.
Okay.
Yeah, the term justice of peace, I think it's American. Let me see. Did you marry before justice of peace?
Justice of peace.
A justice of peace is a magistrate, often a layperson who handles. So if a justice of peace is a magistrate, so there is actually a statement that says if you marry before a justice of peace, you are not married. Something along those lines.
We go back to say, in whose eyes? That's why I had to ask that question. In whose eyes? Because if a pastor, let's say if a pastor is a marriage officer,
a pastor is a marriage officer because it becomes acceptable, because we say
because they are in the church.
Marriage starts from the house of God. Now I'm doing these things like tongue in cheek because I don't want to sound and I want to make sure, and you can scrape this part off. I'm not going
try to scrape it off.
Justice of peace. I thought I would pull up the quote, but
did you find it though?
Yes, question and answers. Question and answers 640830M. Question number 342, paragraph 154. We were married 21 years ago by the justice of peace. Was it wrong? Yes, it was wrong for you to do that. Marriage belongs in the house of God. But being that you are married, here is when you are really married. You are married when you vow one to the other, when you promise one another that you would take one another. The justice of peace could give you a license, that legal terms of living together as husband and wife without being common law and wife. But when you promise this girl, so he then goes on to explain things. So you see why people might be averse to going to the magistrate.
Yes, there is a lot that was said in a small sentence. Yeah.
But simple, let's just answer the first statement. Where we were married 21 years ago by the justice of peace, was it wrong? The answer says yes, it was wrong for you to do that, full stop. Marriage belongs in the house of God, full stop.
Yes, and I'm saying that there's a lot of things that we said that what the court is saying. Let me do this.
So I bring this up now as a way of looking at this discussion to say now, so this is what is playing in the minds of the people. You see, the reason why now we are having pastors being trained, to be marriage officers is trying to comply with the law, and and also fit the expectation of the system in which they exist. Because the system in itself doesn't recognize. But the irony of it is the certificate the pastor is going to get you signed on is the same certificate that the magistrate is using, and is being given power by the same constitution and by the same.
So, is the court is saying about talking about marriage, like it goes on to explain what is marriage, is the vow, as it is saying. I don't want to say anything, but it has been said. It has been said that was wrong to be married before justice of peace.
Yes.
It has been said that was the wrong thing that you did 21 years ago.
Yeah.
But then the second statement says the vow. Was it the vow? The second.
Yes. So the second statement says
marriage belongs. Yeah.
Listen. I want to read the whole paragraph. That's paragraph 154. I'll read it through the whole of it. Okay. So allow me. So paragraph 154. This is the questions and answers of August 30 in the morning, 1964. It's a very interesting sermon that I loved it. Says, we were married 21 years ago by the justice of peace. Was it wrong? Yes, it was wrong for you to do that. Marriage belongs in the house of God. But being that you are married, here is when you are really married. You are married when you vow one to the other. When you vow one to the other, when you promise one another that you will take one another, the justice of peace could give you a license. That's legal terms of living together as husband and wife without being common law husband and wife. But when you promise the girl, that, and this, you promise that man that you will live true to him, and you take him to be your husband, you are married then. You remember I explained that last week, I believe it was. See, when you promise her. So he mentions three things there.
Yeah.
And I hope you get it. He says, here's when you vowed one to the other. That's the first statement he says. Then he says, you were given a license, not to be common law, but then you promised each other. So you vow, and then you promised to each other. And not just you promised that you are going to stay with this person. And you always hear there is starting now the sermon he's referring to say last week is supposed to be the one he says, I think it's the I might misquote. It might be Marriage of the Lamb or the spoken word of the original seed. I might be wrong. Where he says now what starts is the decision.
Yeah.
The decision made, and then the promise, then comes the vow. But here he has condensed a lot of things. But if we take his words, we are going to say the day you promise, you are already married.
So there's a few people that are looking at marriage. There is God. There is the law. I'm sure when they're saying that the vow that you promise to a girl or to a woman, you are making this vow in front.
Engagement.
It's the engagement.
Will you marry
That's
me?
your promise, right? Yes, that's the promise. This vow is taking. It's an oath that you are taking in front before God. Or it's just because it's between the two, the guy and.
You see how you are struggling is the same struggle that sometimes, because now in the minds of an individual, it could be that you think I don't know. This is why I say I don't know how the justice of peace would do it in America, right? But I can tell you my experience of standing before a magistrate.
Justice of peace.
The justice of peace.
Yeah.
She mentioned the name of Jesus before God. Do you solemnly swear today before God and before the company of these people? So God is invoked.
Yeah.
And it's a promise
you are making.
I'm making. So the question then that comes is, can God not bind me to that promise just because it was before a justice of peace? Whom is being said it's wrong to do in front of that person?
Yeah.
That's point number one.
Yeah.
So number two, you have to look at it also. If we boil it down, if I come back to what we spoke about earlier on to say our culture, we spoke about marriages, Lobola. And I asked a question to say, if you are getting married, bring them in. Bring them in, may say, trustee, you're getting married. Are you not going to start the proceedings with an opening prayer? Are you not going to close the proceedings with a blessing and a closing prayer for the success of this newly established coming together of families? Is God not involved then? So is then the term, if getting married starting before God, let me use the right words here, then belongs in the house of God? Is the house then the building? Or is the house the people that have come, who have gathered in my name and are called by his name to do what is sanctioned by him in his name?
Let's wrap it up and then we'll see. Let's continue this conversation next week. Just because of our time. We spend enough time.
Oh man.
We had a lot of things to talk about, but this topic is broad. So
yeah,
let's talk about it. And also, if we could bring someone else to the conversation, we'll see if it's possible. If not, we'll continue on our own. And I'm sure if you guys have got questions, please, there's a comment section down there. Please write your comment or ask a question, or if you know something better, please reach out so that we can also have a conversation, and we will see how we can close this topic, because it's
sure
bigger than I thought.
It's way bigger than I thought, and also, just as a disclaimer out there, we are not saying what I am saying is the absolute. This is just a way of trying to discuss, to say, okay, fine, how does these things go about? How do we bring together? How do we marry these things together? Because we are a community that is still trying to do what is culturally expected, and to do what is considered to be the true thing that we are supposed to do. But how do you balance out when you come across such conflicting statements and in a lived reality position? Is a person who has done it before the magistrate, are they married or they are not married? What is your thoughts on that? And we definitely would want to hear your comments. Give a shout out to me. You can tag me. We are there. Every platform. We'll try to be engaging with you, and hopefully we'll continue this next time.
So if you have a question, please text Tapmark, and you can also text me. So and then we can talk about this next week. If you also want to feature on this, we'll make it a series, 2 or 3 parts. And then we'll close it. If you know that you know something, please reach out, and then we can also feature you in the next. See you in the
Cheers to next time.
Yeah.